Hi folks, here's Paul Skorpen, and I'm sitting down at our house here in Italy that we've had for the last 22 years, bought very cheaply before the advent of Ryanair to this part, and it was first a dream and then it became a nightmare because at that time we had very little money, so we had to renovate it ourselves. That doesn't matter. The reason why I'm here is because I'm here just to take a few days off to do some writing and some thinking and some contemplating. Most people know me as a healer and as a teacher of spirituality, and that's what I do. I'm not ashamed to say that I'm being very challenged right now by my own epistemological and ontological mythologies. Probably most of you are familiar with the idea of epistemology or ontology. It is the way that we perceive and define reality. And partly thanks to the COVID era and the apparent paradigm shift that we're undergoing, a lot of us are challenged to even question our very understanding, even in spirituality. And I wanted to give a few short talks while I'm down here, and this first one's going to be on cell memory, cellular memory. Cellular memory, I think a lot of you are familiar with. This idea that the cells of the body store the past. And one second, I have to free my vacuum cleaner. Okay, I'm sorry, that's just one of those portable vacuum cleaners that just goes around by itself. Very practical, but sometimes gets caught some places. So cellular memory is the idea that it's not only the brain cells which store the past, but it's also the cells of the body. And it's very closely related to DNA encoding, that the DNA in the body also can be, is very pliable and can be programmed and reprogrammed in a very short time. And I want to give you a couple examples of that's happened this year to me that I've encountered. And the first one was when I took a group of people to Anatolia, starting in Ufra, Sanli Ufra. And Ufra is an amazing city, but it's also the reason why we go there is because it's not far from Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe. These are the oldest temple complexes in the world and also the largest. First it started with Göbekli Tepe 26 years ago, and now it's gone on to Karahan Tepe, which we visited. And they're extraordinary places. They're very challenging to us because we don't know how they were built and who built them and what they mean. The thing about Sanli Ufra is it's also the birthplace of Abraham, the father of the Judaic-Christian tradition. And there's also a tomb there for Job. And it is a pilgrim city for a long, long time for Jews and Christians and Muslims, understandably so. And now a new wave because of Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe and maybe another 26 tepes which have been discovered in a very small radius around that area. That's why they call it the womb of the world or the cradle of civilization. To this day, when you go to a restaurant in Sanli Ufra or you at the hotel and you have breakfast, they'll put on the table the food along with a spoon and a fork. And you think they forgot to put a butter knife on the table or to bring it to the table at the restaurant. No, no. In that area, a knife is considered a weapon going back a long, long, long time. So when you go there, you won't see a butter knife or a steak knife. And that has a lot to do with cell memory, because the people there, they've come and gone, of course. The people there who are there now have been there maybe 1,000 years or so. But still, their ancestors passed on in the genetic code to their children this cell memory that knives, even butter knives, are dangerous. And then I have an older client in Germany. She's an older woman from the area of Ravensburg, and she was born into a family which had a restaurant. And she was the 7th of 9 children born to the family, because they're Catholic. And also at that time, children were very practical, especially if you had a farm, because somebody had to harvest potatoes or work in a restaurant. And she confided to me recently that her mother contemplated having an abortion when she was pregnant with this woman. And I know the woman for quite a while, and that was the first time I heard that. And she had a very profound experience in the womb of her mother, because she felt like she was not wanted. And she's never felt at home in this world, because the first place she had as a home for 9 months was very dangerous and very threatening, life-threatening. So her body stored with, her cell memory stored with this idea that this world is not safe, and she's been basically trying to escape this world through spirituality and also through travel from the beginning. And now she's confronted with that, and we're trying to clean her cell memory. It's possible through spiritual healing, actually, even more so than before, that she can get rid of that pattern where she's in constant danger. And I also have a very good friend in the next village from me. He's a gardener, and his name is Ahmed. And he came to Germany with his wife. Well, he came to Germany when he was 4 years old as a guest worker, as a guest child, and his parents basically stayed back in Turkey. And we've known each other now for about 12 years. And I get along really well with Ahmed. Sometimes we drink a beer in the evening, and we share nice talks. And he's a peace-loving man, Ahmed. He's a peacemaker, in many ways, and he has a great understanding for other people's suffering and pain. So he has a lot of empathy, and that's why I like Ahmed so much. And then I was visiting him about 2 weeks ago, and we started talking about the Egyptians, and then he flipped out, and he went on a rant about how you can't trust the Egyptians. They want to create war all the time. And I thought, Ahmed, what's going on with you? I mean, the Egyptians are basically peace-loving people. Good. I mean, they attacked the Hittites about 3,000 years ago, but they were not particularly warmongering people. And he said, yes, they are. They are. They're dangerous. They're dangerous. They come overnight and steal our children and rape our women and build their temples. And I said, Ahmed, as far as I know, the last time they had a war was the 7-Day War against the Israelis. And he said, yeah, but they're like that. Then I realized that Ahmed, coming from Anatolia, even though he's a Kurd, has stored in his cell memory this idea that these people are dangerous, or these people are good, or these people want to take their land or take their wealth. And it's stored in his cell memory, his folk memory, let's put it that way. Because you have personal cell memory, then you have collective cell memory. The idea that the Egyptians are dangerous. And I said, whoa. And there's another Kurdish woman who, they're not related, they don't even know each other, who's now in a treatment with me because she came to Germany when she was a young girl. And she has 2 children and is happily married. I treated her husband, so she's now getting treated by me. And the reason is because she has fear of flying. And she also has fear of losing loved ones, even though nothing traumatic has happened to her in her life. And then I started thinking about why is she so afraid of flying, and why does she have such fear that she's going to leave early and leave her young children behind, or her young children are going to leave early. And then I realized it's the same thing. if you were living in Anatolia in the last few thousand years, you were constantly on the run, because invading forces and people would come in and take over your town and replace your town with a new belief system. And so you would always have to sort of escape, you know, especially if the sea people came. And she has that, her genetic code and her cell memory is stored with that memory. So I've treated her a couple of times, and suddenly she could fly without much fear. And then I want to share with you something about what happened to me yesterday, which I think is actually quite remarkable. Some of you know that I've been very involved in discovering our roots in Anatolia and Egypt and the Holy Land and in Patmos. I lead trips there. And I have a web page for the Anatolia goddess Artemis in her many forms. It's called Veils of Artemis. And I've been deeply involved with Artemis for the last 5 years. And I have also a Facebook page for Artemis, and there's a woman from Australia who's a painter, Summer, and she decided to give me a present of a beautiful painting of Artemis, and she sent it to me. And I do my framing down here in Italy because it's about 1/4 of the price compared to Germany. And there's a nice family here by here in Grazia Salina who run a frame shop. Actually, it's a shop that they sell everything, but they also do pretty nice framing. And I know them now for about 10, 12 years. And so I said, okay, this time I'm going to take a couple pictures in to have them framed, including my Artemis painting. And I showed her the first two, and she selected a frame, and she said, okay, we'll use beige as a background, and you know, it went well. And then I said, I have another piece. And I was hit with a wave of fear. And I unfolded my Artemis painting, and I realized that in me, even now when I talk about it, I get a little bit shaky. In me is a cell memory that maybe a lot of us have, that when we were polytheistic pagans, they say, pagans is a bit of is not a nice word, but polytheistic, we believed on multiple gods. We had to hide it, especially after Constantine gave Christianity protection, and then Christianity became a world religion. You basically had to become a closet polytheist, especially if you believed in Artemis still. And this cell memory is in me, and I realized that you know, when I showed this woman, this kind woman, she had no problem with it. My painting of Artemis, I thought she's going to start to persecute me for believing in Artemis. So that's just 3 or 4 examples of what's going on now. And the nice thing about spiritual healing is that because of this paradigm shift that we're going through, it's my experience, my daily experience in my praxis in Andex and in Munich, that cell memory can be transformed fairly quickly, can be washed away actually, even going down into the D.N.A, which has been encoded from thousands of generations through our ancestral lands, can also be freed rather quickly now. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that out, and I hope you're all well. And I wish you all peace. Just a quick advertisement. At the end of next month, September 2022, actually pretty much in 4 weeks, we're going to be traveling to Patmos to spend a week on the island of Patmos in the Aegean Seas to go into the Book of Revelations as a healing method. And there's a couple places remaining. So if you want to join and get away from where you are, it's going to be German and English. Right now it's German, but I've done it in both languages, and I'm willing to do it in both languages. Write my office at theosis.com, and we can send you more information. Okay. Okay, take care, folks, and peace and faith and trust and hope and goodness. Ciao. Arrivederci.